Hello everybody, my name is Anthony Sedlak. Today I get the privilege of showing you one of the newest apparatus that the City of Franklin has purchased, Hazmat 6. Hey everybody, again, welcome to Station 6. Like I said, my name's Anthony Sedlak. I am a hazmat specialist with the City of Franklin. Everybody in the City of Franklin is trained to at least an awareness level. Some have taken that a little bit further and trained to a technician level and again, even specialists. This station is located at 1061 Cool Springs Boulevard, which is really close to the interstate, kind of a central location around the mall area as well. We have the ability to kind of respond anywhere in the city pretty quick with the interstate, and then eventually if we need to, or if we are called outside of the city to the county, or even outside of the county. So why don't we start with just kind of walking around the truck and taking a look at the truck. First of all, I want to talk about the awning. The awning is certainly a luxury for us to have. If we are out in the sun, out in the rain, and we're on a response or somewhere, we don't have to stand in the rain. We don't have to stand under the blazing sun. Now, a unique feature about this awning is it actually will enclose. It's called an add-a-room, so we can enclose this awning and make this kind of just a big giant tent, which works out great, especially on these days like today. It just happens to be 20 degrees outside, so it'll work out really great, kind of keep us warm. So we'll go in the truck in a minute. We'll kind of talk about some of the capabilities and some of the unique features inside the truck. But let's just start with some of the compartments. So this truck, what this truck responds to is any sort of hazmat incident. And hazmat's just short for hazardous material. So any type of chemical spill or any type of potential biological threat, this truck would respond to. And the team that would respond is made up of several guys throughout the department in each shift. We have guys on each shift at Station 6 and also guys at Station 3 that are part of the hazmat response team. So you probably are wondering why there's dressing stools in here, or step stools or chairs. We call them dressing stools. When we get inside the truck, I'll show you why we need that. We have some big PPE or big suits that we have to put on it's going to be very difficult to do without some sort of stool. This truck has many unique features, so if I say unique features multiple times, it's for a reason. One of the other unique features is a television out here that we can share. Anything from inside that we're looking at, we can see out here. And why is that important? Well, guys that are out here getting dressed, getting ready to go handle a situation, down the interstate or maybe potentially down the railroad tracks or something like that, they can see what we're looking at inside. So everybody's on the same playing field and everybody knows exactly what we're dealing with. So again, another unique feature. We also have the ability to get antenna TV on here, so we can get some weather information or make sure that the news is reporting what's going on, make sure that they're reporting that correct. So that's again, really interesting and really nice feature. So again, this truck responds to different type of hazardous material spills, accidental spills. So what is in this compartment are just some different types of absorbent booms. We call them booms. They look like just big hoses, but they're full of different or special absorbents. Moving up top here, we have even more. And we've got them all labeled. So some will, which is unique about these, some will absorb oil and some won't, or just absorb oil and they won't absorb water, and vice versa. So really unique piece of equipment, or pieces of equipment there. All right, so moving back here to this last compartment on the officer side or the passenger side, you can see that it's full of a lot more equipment as well. Up top here, starting up top, just some scene lights. So if we're away from the truck, working away from the truck, we can light up that scene or light up that area that we're working. Moving over here is just a two-wheel dolly to potentially move a 55-gallon drum. You know, you probably ask why would we move a 55-gallon drum? Well, if it's overturned and it's got a hole in it, we might be able to stand it up and keep it from leaking, or potentially move it to a safer area away from something else that might be leaking. We don't want those two chemicals to mix. We also have a fan in here. If we needed to ventilate a space to clear out the vapors or fumes from somewhere, we can definitely use that fan. It's an electric fan. Moving right over here to this side, I talked about the tent that we can add to this awning, and this would be that tent that we can add to this awning. Comes in a big bag, and it literally just zips onto the awning, and also down below. Again, a unique feature about this truck is we have our own weather station. So this weather station would plug up to the back of the truck, and you want to know why. You probably are asking yourself, why do we have to have weather? We know what the weather's doing. It's either sunny or it's raining. Well, we want to know that information, especially in our hazmat response, because chemicals react different with water, chemicals react different with humidity. You know, we don't want some chemicals, we don't want them to heat up, we want them to stay cool, or vice versa. So on-scene weather to us is really important. We want to know how that chemical is reacting to the on-scene weather, to the rain that's falling or the cold temperature. Moving below here, we have specialized decon solution, which is just decontamination soap. So some soap is just like your Dawn liquid dish soap at home. Some soap is a little bit stronger, and then some soap is even stronger than that. So just it depends on what we're dealing with to what chemical or what type of decon solution we're going to use. This truck is also equipped with 100 pounds of oil dry, which is just your simple at-home kitty litter. It's just clay dirt. We can use that clay dirt to absorb oil and water, oil or gasoline, or even other spills too. So since we're done with this side for right now, let's make our way around back, and we'll go up top because there's even more storage up top. All right, so like I said, moving up to the top of the truck, there's even a great amount of storage up here. You probably are wondering what we store on top of a truck. Well, these compartments open, allowing us to put a lot more equipment up here. So in these compartments up top, we've kind of set aside just for our decon solution, or our decon equipment. There's pools in here to help us wash people or wash ourselves in the event that we need to decon ourselves. This last compartment here, again, has more equipment in it. This truck responds to everything as far as hazmat response, even drug activity. So this truck actually, we have a shower on here that we can wash just one person if we needed to just wash one person that was involved in some drug activity that the jail doesn't want to accept them until they're clean. We have walkers in here, and you're probably wondering why we have walkers. In that suit that we wear, it's very cumbersome. So when we're standing in there and trying to hold up one leg or hold up one arm or something like that, having that walker in our decon line will help us. When I could say decon line, in that steps will help us to not fall over and just keep our balance. Before I head back down, I talked about the weather station on the other side. This is where that weather station would live when we're on a call. Again, giving us that real time, that live weather. So that weather is really important to us. Having the ability to have it right here on the truck is key. Continuing around the other side of the truck, but before I go around the other side of the truck, I wanted to point out this camera. So up top is a camera. This camera actually is on a telescoping rod that will go up 45 feet. This camera is vital to us. We don't want to go next to that 55-gallon drum that might be hazardous, or next to something else that might be hazardous, without kind of putting eyes on it first. So if we can put eyes on it with the camera, that just is going to make our response a lot safer and a lot better. Again, moving around now, we're now on the driver's side of the truck. This compartment is specifically for leaks. So there's plugs in here, there's patches in here, there's different types of patches for generalized patches, and then plugs, and then also for pipes. We have there's a 200-foot electrical cord on here. So if we needed to bring electricity somewhere, we can 200 foot away from the truck. We definitely have that capability. One of the best things that we have, that, believe it or not, is probably one of the cheaper items that we have, are just wooden plugs in this bag. So we have wooden plugs from this size all the way up to this size. Wood is really great. It expands when it gets wet. So depending on what we're dealing with, we could potentially plug a hole with just a wooden plug, or even a golf tee. There's golf tees in there. This big yellow circle right here is actually not a circle, it's a big drum. If I was to pull that out, it's a 95-gallon drum. So that 55-gallon drum that we talked about earlier, if I needed to render that safe, I could put it in here, put the lid on top of it. Now it's all contained in here, plenty of room for it, makes it safe, and we would have a cleanup company come and take care of that. There's some shovels here, some little dustpans. If we needed to sweep something up that was small, that was hazardous, we could utilize those. Moving on to this compartment. This compartment has some other leak stuff in it. We do utilize these bags just to carry equipment, just big canvas bags. But up top here we have some acid and base neutralizer. So if in the event that somebody spilled some muriatic acid, or they spilled a strong base, we can neutralize that without causing a whole lot of harm to ourselves. The stuff in these boxes right here are just drain covers. They cover up the drain. Cover up a big storm drain. So if we had gasoline or diesel fuel or some sort of hazardous material running down the side of the interstate or running down the side of the road, and we don't want to get into the storm water, we don't want that, we can put this drain cover over top of it. Even things down to soap. We don't utilize this soap on this side of the truck for washing ourselves. We utilize this soap for plugging a hole. So if we had a hole in a gas tank or a hole in a saddle tank of a tractor trailer, we can take this soap and scratch it along that, and sometimes this will work to plug that hole, depending on the chemical and depending on what or how big the hole is. We'll leave that out for right now. These bottom three compartments are kind of special compartments. They were built for the kits that we have, and we have what we call an A, B, and C kit, and they are strictly for chlorine emergencies. So where would we see chlorine? Not your typical chlorine bleach, but chlorine like at a water treatment plant, or chlorine that is being used in some sort of manufacturing facility. It's shipped up and down the interstate. It's shipped on the railroad, and it's also can be found in, like I said, water treatment plants. So we'll just start here at the front because this is A. So these kits are designed for different types of containers. So these would be, or this one would be for a stand-up cylinder, like you might see at a hospital, like an oxygen cylinder. It'd be something similar to that. This container, and you'll see as we move down from A, B to C, they get a little bit bigger. So this one would be for a cylinder at a water treatment plant. And then this one, obviously much larger. This would be a kit for that we would use for a rail car. So you can tell the size of that is definitely a lot bigger. So again, just moving back towards the front of the truck, you kind of have noticed that looks like a huge blank space right here, and that that'll make a lot more sense when we get inside the truck. You'll be able to see that. Something else that you might notice is there's not a door right here on this side, on the driver's side. And again, that will make a lot more sense when we get inside because we have a working space inside, and we don't want people coming through this side of the truck. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Let's make our way around and we'll take a look at that. All right, so again, welcome to the passenger side again. We're going to go back inside here. I talked about this on the other side, but we're going to go back inside here and see some of the technology and some of the things that make this truck unique and some of the features inside. All right, so now that we're inside, we'll shut that door, make it a little bit quieter. That was one of the reasons for having this workspace. It's just a quiet workspace when we're on scene, to just have a quiet space, just a space that we can concentrate and make sure that we're doing the right steps and we're handling this situation right. So as you can see, there are 2 workstations here. These 2 computers are for this workstation. Those 2 computer screens are for that workstation. Gives us the ability to have 2 people back here referencing things, looking at things. You'll see now from the inside of the truck the reason that there's no door over there. It just gets a little bit tight, and we don't want people walking through here and disturbing the people that are really concentrating on making sure that our response is safe. The people that sit back here, their positions are really unique. They're really in charge of making sure that we're handling this situation appropriately and making sure that all the steps are being done. As you can see, there's seat belts in here. So there's a seat belt here. There's a seat belt on the other side as well. Over here. There's also a riding seat right here. And the reason I'm pointing out these seat belts is because if we're going to an incident, we can have people back here already looking things up in a riding position and riding safely with the seat belt on. So that's just another unique feature of this truck. Obviously, communications back here. We have plenty of communications back here, plenty of different ways to have communications with USB ports and Cat5 cables and things of that nature. Up top here, so now that we're in the back of the truck, any white surface that you see in the back of the truck, whether it's here or in the back as we move further, these are all writable surfaces. So if we need to jot down a note with a dry erase marker, we can definitely do that, wipe it right off, no big deal. Inside of this compartment are some reference materials, just more reference books that we utilize, different types. Inside of here is just some extra storage for some office supplies. So again, any white surface that you see throughout this video like this is definitely a writable surface. So I don't know if you guys can see, but right here behind this netting, is a couple different things. Up top here is what we call a calibration station. So all of our monitors that we utilize, we have the ability to calibrate and make sure that they're reading appropriately. So this truck has the ability, like I said in the beginning, to go out of the county or out of the city, out of the county, potentially out of the state if needed. We want to be able to be self-sufficient. So we don't want to rely on somebody else to calibrate our monitors. We don't want to rely on somebody else to do the research for us. We want to be able to do our own research. Another unique feature about this computer that I failed to mention is we have the ability to access all of our city documents on here. So lists of people, available personnel or other things that we have stored in our system. Or a wireless printer here, so if we need to print some information out about this chemical or about this call, we definitely can. This slides out just on a slide out tray, locks back in there. Just some more storage down there with some ink cartridges and some extra gas to calibrate our monitors. So that's definitely our working space here. Let's move back into the back, a little bit further into the back of the truck to see some of the other equipment that we carry and store. So moving back here into the body of the truck, you see, we'll start right here. You see the 2 refrigerators. We have waters in there, Gatorades. Up here, up top in the freezer sections of them, we have ice packs in here that look just look like this. We've got specially designed vests that we can put these ice packs in, keep us cool underneath these large level A suits, what we call level A suits. If we get a chance, I'll show you those. Moving on up top here, you probably noticed the coffee maker. Everybody needs coffee. Everybody wants coffee, especially at 3 o'clock in the morning. We want coffee. So we have the ability to make our own coffee and, again, be that kind of self-sufficient, ready to respond. Some other storage up here. Something unique about a hazmat response that we don't typically do on a fire response is every time we get in one of these big level A suits or a big, what we call a green Gumby suit, we have to do medical monitoring. So we have to make sure that our heart rate's right, our blood pressure is correct, we take our weight, all of that stuff to make sure, because chemicals definitely affect us just like they affect nature, right? So we want to make sure that we're not being affected by that. And so we'll compare what we call a pre-medical monitoring and a post-medical monitoring. So, unique feature. This is where this is where the awning would come out. We have the ability to control the awning here. Something else that's unique about this truck is just like one of our other, our heavy rescue and our USAR truck, is we have the ability to divert the exhaust. So you can imagine we talked about that tent outside. If we put that tent outside and the exhaust is coming out there, that's not going to be good for us, right? We don't want to breathe that exhaust. So we have the ability to divert the exhaust out the other side. Keeps us from breathing that exhaust and makes it obviously a lot safer for us over there. There is a fold down seat right here. You notice something's missing. There's no seat belt, right? So this is not a rideable seat, but it definitely gives somebody the ability to sit here, take notes, take a break, get in an air-conditioned space or a heated space, and give us just a little bit of a rest. Let's move back here to this compartment. There is a lot of specialized equipment in here. A lot of very expensive equipment in here. Starting from our multi-gas monitors that read 6 different gases. We have a couple of those, moving down to thermal imaging cameras, to a digital camera, and then continuing to move down. I talked about earlier that this truck has the ability to respond to potential biological threats. So we have test kits in here that can help us determine whether something is a biological threat. So we have the ability to test to see if there's an anthrax or ricin or botulism, any of those things. All right, so moving over here to this side, you'll see some of our specialized suits. This netting just comes down and gives us full access to these suits. So this is just one suit. Based on the size of the bag, you can tell how big this suit is and how bulky it is and kind of cumbersome it is. It takes a lot of practice to operate in these suits and work in these suits. So we train almost daily out here at Station 6 on working in these suits or working with the technology to make sure that we're ready at that time. Even to the boots. This is not your typical snow boot or your typical work boot. It's a lot bigger, a lot heavier. So these boots are specially designed to walk through nasty chemicals or nasty things. Just a different style boot, but essentially the same thing, just a different style. It's a slip-on or maybe a lace-up one here. I'm going to go ahead and close this so I don't trip on it. Just slides in there. There's more suits down here, so just moving back here, there's more suits down here. Got to have a broom in here. I don't want nasty, we don't want dirt in this truck. This is a very expensive truck, so we want to keep it clean. On the back wall of inside of this compartment, or this side in this room, are our air packs. So our self-contained breathing apparatus here that we'll wear with those suits. Obviously, we don't want to get those chemicals on us, but we also don't want to be breathing those nasty chemicals in. So bringing in our own air with our self-contained breathing apparatus is what we need. Flipping over here to this side. So just to give you a reference, this is the passenger side of the truck. This is the driver's side of the truck. You're now looking at the back of the truck. We're just in this compartment, right? Just different other types of suits that we have. So some chemicals will require a big one of these big suits over here, these blue suits. Some chemicals will require a much smaller suit or thinner suit. So something like this, which is essentially just a painter's suit, right? It just has a little bit more, it actually has a lot more protection to it. So we have different sizes of these, all the way up to 4X. You can imagine you're putting this on top of your normal clothes. So I want it to be definitely bigger than what I normally wear. We even have specialized tape. This is called chem tape. And this tape has been tested to different acid gases and different corrosive gases to help keep it from falling off or deteriorating under those conditions. So it's your duct tape on steroids, really. It's your duct tape on steroids. Why do we have baby powder? That's probably a question. You probably saw that in the video and thought, why do we have baby powder? Well, if you start putting these suits on or these suits on, they're made of a PVC material, like a plastic material. And if my hand gets wet inside of that suit from sweat, or just I was wet before, and now I'm sweaty in there, it's really hard to get my hand into that suit. So what we'll do is we'll take baby powder and put a little baby powder in our hands, on our gloves, and it just slides. Baby powder allows us to just slide right against that plastic. So that too. Plus it smells amazing. All right, so now that we're out here, let's meet Jerry. This is Jerry Thomas, firefighter here at Station 6, also a hazmat tech. And like we talked about in there, what does it really look like to be in one of these suits? What is it? Does it look intimidating? Does it look scary? No, it doesn't. We're here, obviously to help and make this situation safe. So let's see what it looks like to get inside of one of these suits. You can see, remember I told you they look green. You can see how thick they are. They're really thick plastic PVC material, all the way down to the boots. You can see he does not normally wear a size 12 boot, but that's what he has to wear with this suit on. So a unique feature about this suit is it's fully encapsulated, starting at the toes. So if I was to go all the way down here, his foot is inside this suit. So there's nothing in. So if I filled this boot up with water, his sock would never get wet. This has a cover that goes on. So when I say fully encapsulated, when I zip this suit up, no air can get inside. So eventually, if he does not have his self-contained breathing apparatus on, his air pack on, eventually he's gonna pass out because he doesn't have any fresh air. So I'm gonna let him go ahead and put that on and get that ready. And then we'll pull the suit up over top of him. So you can hear he's breathing fresh air now like any other time. It literally takes two people to help somebody get dressed in these situations. I'm going to let him get his hand in there. Let him get his other arm in here. All right. And so now that he's at this point, we're going to go ahead and basically put the top on and zip them up. Help him kind of get this to where he can see outside of it. You can see this, like I said, this is not something that he would just do on his own. Even down to the zipper here. If you look at this zipper is a sturdy zipper. It actually pinches that material together to keep anything from getting inside. So we'll zip this suit all the way up. Goes all the way up to his head here. Just like that. And then this Velcro gets folded down over top of it. So again, he's fully encapsulated in there. So any sort of corrosive gas or any sort of nasty gas or chemical that might injure him won't, because of this suit now. These suits are designed and tested for that. So as you can see, if he'll turn around here, it is definitely a big suit. And we'll let him walk away and go down and work. So again, thank you for visiting us here at Station 6. I really appreciate everybody watching. And again, incredibly thankful to be able to show you this truck and just show you some of the specialized equipment that the City of Franklin carries and some of what the guys train on and operate and do. So again, thank you and have a good day.